The Fabelmans is the newest film from arguably the greatest director of all time, Steven Spielberg. It serves as a semi-autobiographic account of Spielberg's upbringing and how he grew to love movies, all while navigating his social and familial life. Steven Spielberg is my favorite director of all time. So naturally, the plot of this film sincerely intrigued me. To be able to step into the upbringing from the lens of a filmmaker who's still alive is exceptionally rare. In fact, I can't even think of that having been done before. Really, only a few filmmakers out there can do this sort of a thing without it coming across as conceited or self-absorbed. But who doesn't want to learn more about Steven Spielberg? He's one of those filmmakers that everyone knows. Even if you're someone who doesn't keep up with the latest movie news, you know who Steven Spielberg is. So like I said, here Spielberg dives into his upbringing and how he became who he is through the fictional family serving as the Spielbergs here, the Fabelmans. Our main character is the only son, Sammy Fabelman, who grows up with two very different parents. A father, played by Paul Dano, who is more analytic, works with computers, and sees Sammy's hobby of making movies as just that, a hobby. And then he has a mother, played by Michelle Williams, who's more free-spirited and artistic. And she didn't go out there and pursue her dream of being a concert piano player. Naturally, as you can imagine, she is much more supportive of Sammy with his artistic pursuits. Going in, I thought this would be similar to Belfast that came out last year, a semi-autobiographic film about a young kid growing up during a tumultuous time. Except what the Fabelmans accomplishes that Belfast didn't, in my opinion, is it focuses inward on the family. It doesn't center the focus around what's going on externally. Belfast had familiar drama as well, but that was less on the forefront than the Fabelmans is. This film is a true journey of Sammy and his family, bars, over the course of roughly 8-ish years. We see Sammy go from this young kid going to the cinema for the first time with his parents, falling in love with film, to being a young adult that has to make some serious choices about his future. And in the moments in between, we see how movies, as well as serious, challenging moments with his parents, develop Sammy into a man, and the person that he would grow up to become. I thought that this movie was going to be a lot more in your face about how wonderful and glorious movies are. And don't get me wrong, this is a love letter to film, but it's from the lens of this kid. We see how this art form becomes an outlet for him to throw all of his energy into. This movie professes to us that if you have a passion, you should go out and pursue it. Everyone in their lives has something that they're passionate about that serves as a sort of escape from everything else going on in their lives. And this movie also covers what can happen as you develop into an adult if you suppress this passion of yours, and how you can't suppress those feelings forever. Eventually your heart is gonna do what it wants to do. This film is extremely rich in all of those themes and proves again why Spielberg is one of the greatest filmmakers ever, arguably the best. This film never came across as preachy or self-absorbent to me. It's a very heartwarming but real and honest movie, with the grand moments where Sammy makes his first movie of toy trains crashing into each other. We get some genuine tear-jerking moments with his parents. There were a couple of scenes that felt so real that they nearly made me tear up. But I also found myself laughing during several moments of this film. It's so good at showing the ups and downs of life as you're growing into who you're going to be. That there's gonna be good and there's gonna be bad. There's gonna be triumphant moments, but there's also gonna be some really serious moments with your family. Sammy is a kid that I think all of us can relate to because we've all been there at that moment in our lives when our sort of out there dream needs to meet real world expectations. So naturally, he's a protagonist that we can all root for because most of us, I can imagine, can relate to him. And the actor who plays Sammy, Gabriel LaBelle, is outstanding here. This year feels like it's pretty light in the best actor category, but yet I haven't seen his name pop up anywhere. I think he's fantastic here and had a lot he had to do. He had so many scenes where it is focused in on him in the inner turmoil, where I was like, this kid is absolutely killing it right now. Where has he been? Scenes where he has to get across such mixed feelings like anger and disappointment towards someone you have love for, dissatisfaction with yourself despite the fact that you've accomplished something great. I think LaBelle should be in the conversation for more nominations, especially considering the fact that it's a light year in terms of lead actor. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't at least be considered. Paul Dano also does what Paul Dano does best. He plays a more subdued character that has a lot more going on underneath the surface. He's really good in this film. He has a couple of scenes where he unleashes a little bit, but his performance for the most part is all in the eyes. You're never quite sure what he does and doesn't know about certain characters, just that the gears are turning in his head. I think it's one of those performances that could be overlooked whenever the award nominations start coming out, but if he started seeing nominations for Best Supporting Actor, I wouldn't bat an eye. He would be totally deserving in my opinion, and it's about time we gave Paul Dano his flowers. He has 0 Academy Award nominations to date. It's about time he saw some recognition. It still blows my mind that he didn't get a nomination for There Will Be Blood several years ago. That was like 15 years ago, but I'm still not over it. If he got a nomination here, I think it would be great for him. This film also had a fun appearance by Judd Hirsch, who had a scene that he's truly outstanding in. But I've seen him in the conversation for Best Supporting Actor, and I'm just not sure about that. I think after seeing this movie, you could make an argument that other characters that have a similar amount of screen time where they just make an appearance for a scene or two, or some other supporting actors in this film, particularly one of the bullies that Sammy has to deal with at high school, you can make an argument that those actors are as good as Judd Hirsch in this movie, and that they're just as memorable. Now, I'm not saying Judd Hirsch was bad, he was fantastic, but I'm kind of sick of the Academy Awards nominating these legacy actors just because they want to honor them. You know, like, I don't know. I feel like I can see him getting nominated here because he is fantastic for that scene that he's here, or I guess he's in a couple of scenes, but I think that Paul Dano, between the two, if they had to push one, Paul Dano's more deserving of it. He had more to do in this movie. And I mean, if Hirsch ended up getting nominated, fine, whatever. I'm not going to be mad or anything. He was very good here. I just don't see why we feel like we have to nominate someone for an Academy Award in order to say that it was a good performance. Like, can we just acknowledge that he had a small but memorable role here without having to give a full-on Academy Award nomination to? I don't know, that's just me. But the real star of this movie is Michelle Williams. I thought that this character of Sammy's mother had a few out there moments where I just honestly thought that she was a big weirdo, but I think the point of the character is that people are complicated. She is a net positive influence on Sammy's life, but she by no means is a saint. There was a lot Williams had to do in this role, and I thought that she nailed it. She has one scene where, I'm not going to reveal what it is, but she's sitting in a closet watching a film that Sammy made, where I was astounded by how good Michelle Williams truly was. She is an incredible actress. She's gonna get nominated for this. I wish they were putting her in Best Supporting Actress, because then I think she has the ability to win. But now she's gonna go toe-to-toe with Cate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh for Best Actress, and I don't love her odds there, but all in all, fantastic performance by Williams. Some schmaltz to her performance, but it's outweighed by the true depth that we get to see through the second half of the film for her. Also, I just love the look of this film. It doesn't feel like it takes place decades ago with the modern camera movement techniques and color palette. Spielberg didn't let up with this one and did a lot to get the feel of this movie across. It's just pleasant to look at. Aside from the minor complaints that I have that the movie was kind of overly schmaltzy in the first half of the film, I thought that this was excellent. It's a 2 hour and 10 minute semi-autobiographic film that I didn't want to end. I wanted to keep following these characters after the credits started to roll. In my opinion, Spielberg has done it again and has made one of the best coming-of-age films of the last several years and has added another classic to his long list in his filmography. I'm giving this film a 9 for now because of some of the more cheesy moments in the first act, I guess, if you want to say. Now, I have thought about it some, and you can make the argument that it's because it's from the lens of Sammy whenever he was younger, so naturally he's gonna have a more childlike, grand view, rose-colored glasses look on life, but still, I have to acknowledge how the first act of this film, I guess, made me feel, and it did kind of draw back from the rest. The rest of the film is truly fantastic to me. Go see The Fabelmans. It is a movie for anyone and everyone. Thank you so much for watching this review. Subscribe for more if you liked it, and I'll see you next time.